All right, what's up? So, a lot of people have been complaining about the third boss, Necrotic Wake. I want to make a video talking about how to beat the boss. The boss did get nerfed a little bit, where Stitchflesh's creation's Festering Rot AoE damage has been reduced by 20%, but I still suspect that this fight's going to be very difficult for a lot of people, and I kind of want to talk about the potential pitfalls that you might face fighting this boss, and how to beat him, and that kind of thing, because I think a lot of people have been struggling with this fight this season. I think that Necrotic Wake has been pretty consistently one of the hardest dungeons. I think there's a tier list on Wowhead where they were like ranking like the most difficult keys to time on a 10 or something like that this week. And I wanted to say Squishy had like Necrotic Wake in one of the lower tiers. Oh, it was even in the bottom, yeah. So he ranked as the hardest key to time even on a 10. Most of that has to do with Surgeon Stitchflesh. So let's kind of talk about why that happens. So first and foremost, this thing right here, you see that we have all three of our spears. This is the most important part of this entire situation, where the ability to be able to like Zerg the boss is actually a critical point. Additionally, we don't have Sated, so we have Bloodlust available. A lot of people like to roll up into this boss without either Spears, Lust, or offensive CDs, and that is straight suicide, has always been straight suicide, always will be straight suicide. Even whenever we were back in Shadowlands, this was the way to fucking die to this boss 100 times out of 100. Now, something that's different is now the spears individually are a lot weaker, and so now what they do is they give you a 20% damage amp, but they stack, and so you actually really want to stack all three of them together with your Bloodlust, and then blow up the boss in one phase. And so as you can see right here, after the first hook, we're going to press pretty much every offensive CD on this boss altogether. Yeah. And so basically, additionally, our Lust is going to be pressed. Also, sorry for Kalamazi making fucking whale sounds in the background. Can't control that guy. I'm making a YouTube video, Kalamazi.
Talking to me.
All right, anyways. So yeah, you guys better watch your mouth when talking to Kalamazi. And so, look at this. What's actually kind of important, too, is that not only did we get these spears on Surgeon Stitchflesh, but we also got the spears on the Abomination here. And so whenever we actually got the spear on the A-Bomb, this cleaved the A-Bomb's HP to near the levels that Surgeon Stitchflesh was at. And whenever they were about the same level, you're going to be trying to do as much damage as possible to Surgeon Stitchflesh. The reason that this is important is actually once you push him to 5% HP, he won't jump back on his platform. And so if you have a lot of damage or you're doing a low enough level key, you're actually able to beat that first jump. And that would be like best case scenario. Obviously, we're doing a 10 in the squad, so we're not necessarily able to do that. But that's huge. Additionally, if you get your spears cleaved onto both Surgeon Stitchflesh and the creation, this creation is literally dead whenever we have Surgeon Stitchflesh come back down. So one of the things that they nerfed was this Festering Rot damage. I would describe the ads as unhealable whenever you have more than 2 out at once. And so your healer realistically can only heal through 1 at a time. And so that's why it's actually super important to be looking to press all of your offensive CDs on the ads. I saw something on Twitter where somebody was like, just DPS the ads, just kill the ads. That's the best way of dealing with this fight. That is 120% not true. The best way of dealing with this fight is saving every offensive cooldown and trying to Zerg this boss. Now, you're going to have to probably kill that first Stitchflesh creation ad if you don't have like a large amount of offensive CDs. And a lot of the times, situations like these can occur where you saw me rezzing our DK dies, and then we just have this second full health creation. We have this first other full health creation. We were never killing this guy anyways. This guy is at 70% HP. We were never killing this guy, and so we're sure as hell not killing this guy. And even if we did, then this boss would be like 100%. So we absolutely had to have like all into the boss. And if our DK didn't die, then we would have been able to beat the check anyways, but it doesn't really matter. So now we have 2 of these A-bombs up at once. And this is like nightmare situation. This is where you wipe. So you must be pressing like all of your defensive cooldowns. You see I have Scales and Renewing Blaze here, and I've pressed all of my defensives. I repressed my Breath of Eons, even though the boss is at 15% HP, which is not normally advised, but I'm trying to make sure that we are not going to be wiping here. We're also dropping the anti-magic zone. We are pressing literally every button here because we are taking 2 A-bombs worth of damage. We are able to get the boss down. And so that's the point that I wanted to make, is like that's how you're supposed to do it. You're supposed to like Zerg the boss with all of your offensive CDs. Now I want to take some time to kind of talk about the second boss and the last boss of this dungeon, because I don't think that people necessarily understand how to deal with either of these fights either. I see this a lot where it's talked about like they don't know what to do on a Marth. first and foremost, if you have a DK, you can take this boss in the middle of the rooms. It's totally fine. If you don't have a DK, take this guy into the corner. That way, it kind of narrows the amount of ads that spawn. That's going to help you be able to get the ads like pre-stacked in a faster manner. That's obviously the preferred way of doing this. I also think that, you see right here, we have 2 shields. Whenever the boss consumes all these ads on the ground during that phase, he starts pulsing AoE. That's a great time to actually use a shield. Gratnus, take notes. I know you wiped in this key earlier to Surgeon Stitchflesh. So that's a great time to use the shield in this fight. And this is something that a lot of people don't really know, is that these ads, whenever they're CC'd and they explode to the Amarth AoE, they actually don't blow up if they're CC'd. So we're actually leaving one parrot off to the side here. So that's one of the big things that you need to know about Amarth. But the last boss pretty easy, not too much going on. The only thing I actually want to shout out is the fact that you can actually, rescue, grappling hook, warlock gate, human form, wild charge, the debuff. And so, like you can see on screen right here, I'm about to get targeted with that Dark Exile. Yeah, I think. And so instead, I rescue our healer, and then I'm able to maintain this Dark Exile. Now the downside is that you're going to die after 45 seconds. But 45 seconds saved up top is actually a lot more valuable than 45 seconds saved up top is actually a lot more valuable than going down and getting the crit buff, because you'd rather burn the battle res. Now the downside is that you have to have the battle res, but like it's not the end of the world. Anyhow, that's why people were wiping Surgeon Stitchflesh, and hopefully that's how to prevent it. I'm sorry for any of the noise in the background. Wanted to make a YouTube video for today. Hope it helps. Goodbye.